Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Now, let's get to the show.
Whoa. Is there a filter on?
Yeah, dude. Hey, TJ, take that red sheet off of your camera, please.
Look, man, it's Labor
For those
Day.
of you listening and
Spend
or
some
watching
time
at
at the
home, we're not drinking a strawberry beer tonight.
Yes, this
I
is
don't know
not
what's going on.
It's, I mean, I was
Did you
trying to
eat
show
a-
you earlier. Like I am roasty red all over.
Did you eat a bowl of strawberries before the show tonight?
Is that from today?
Yes, today.
Wow. You need to put some aloe on there.
I need a prayer. That's what I need.
Are you
But it's
hurting?
cold.
Does it hurt? Does it
No,
hurt?
it'll
It's just
tomorrow.
hot. It's hot. That's the thing.
It'll hurt tomorrow though.
My sunburns don't ever really hurt. They're hot. Ooh, that was a loud pop.
That looks like the peeling kind too. You're gonna be peeling. That nose is gonna be peeling.
Oh, the nose is toasty red because I fell asleep with my sunglasses on, so this thing just took a full.
Yeah, you're looking.
How long were you asleep for out there?
4 days. It felt like.
I
wonder
just
what the
can't sleep. I can't
UV
sleep in the
index was.
sun. I can't sleep in this like outside sunny. Like it's just too hot for me. I got to be cold when I sleep.
It's because your kids are too old. That's the problem.
So I don't know what that means, but sure.
That means that you can pick and choose when you want to sleep.
Yeah, we're up 5:40.
We gotta sleep when we
every
can.
day.
Kenny.
Kids
Beggars
want
can't
to
be
take a nap.
choosers.
I'm already sipping on it over here, but this is OG Lite. This is
I gotta tell you, this is real light. This is coming out like agua.
yeah, this is Hook Point OG Lite. It's kind of confusing because it says what's it say? Confusing, but it is Hook Point. Freedom
Original
is
Glory
worth
American
drinking to.
Pilsner. I thought it was gonna be original gangsta Pilsner.
I mean, OG Light. I guess they just have
Well-
a regular OG that isn't light. I don't know why you specify.
Happy Labor Day, fellas. You boys tuned into the Fighting Norvells. Not much fight in these Norvells this year.
Man,
We'll get a first-hand taste of this here in 2 weeks. Of course, they get a bye before they play us, so all these issues they're facing, well, I'm sure will be fixed.
no, you can't fix broke. DJU is broke. That dude is terrible.
It ain't
I think
just
they can
him.
fix it.
They got a lot of brokenness going around.
It's also there's a lot of these just dropping passes because there's some of these he's
Yeah.
threading them in and people are just dropping them. So it's
Yeah,
like you just put it on
when
him.
he does make a throw, it's being dropped. That is for
Yeah.
sure.
But that's like 1 out of every 10 throws because they're
That's
throwing on
it.
every down. Like they haven't. I asked you guys when you jumped on here. I was like, "Where's their run game?" They have zero. They haven't run the ball at all.
Yeah. Boston
Like,
College
bring
got
up for those
200 rushing
nerds.
yards right now with 10 minutes left.
That is rough. What a rough game for them. Jeez.
Mhm.
All right, that's enough about the fightless Norvells. Fellas, week 1 of the books. First time for me in person to see the Liberty Hole live in the flesh. And it was, let me tell you,
Yeah.
it catches the eye,
Yeah.
both externally and inside that bad boy. I kind of like the look of it from the inside. Get a little, I wish maybe the downtown skyline, maybe you could see the pyramid right behind it. That would be neat.
Yeah.
Or if we're in a mountainous
Yeah.
land and there were some mountains peeking through there, that would be cool. But it's not. Seeing the Coliseum's not terrible.
I'll say on the way out, once you walk out of the stadium, like you just pass the bell, you take a left, and you just have this huge, vast opening of the screen. You see the billboard or the scoreboard. You
That's
see
weird.
yeah, it's wild. Like you don't even need a ticket. Like we could have stayed at our spot at Tiger Lane and just watched the whole game on the big screen.
It is certainly weird. I will say, can confirm Our seats are a little too low, Kenny, so I could not keep an eye on my vehicle. I can't see it. I'd have to sit
Yeah.
there to be able to do that. They built that wall, which looks great, branded wall,
Looks
very
great.
nice.
Yes.
But I couldn't see the parking lot. Only a little higher.
My favorite thing that I saw at the game, non-football related, were people wearing hard hats in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
They had just blue hard hats. I'm like, I'm gonna get one, slap a Tiger logo on it. I may put Tiger stripes on it. I don't know yet.
I saw that on Twitter. Somebody tweeted it. I think Friday they tweeted their outfit. They had a matte gray hard hat with the blue Tiger stripes, and then had a like a blue and silver reflective vest, like a construction site. So yeah,
I don't think I had many of those.
That was fun.
I don't think I had those Tiger stripes left from all the helmets I was making, but I could probably get something.
We could just show up in a helmet, take the face mask off.
That may confuse people, and also extremely hot.
Not next week. It's only going to be like 77.
Yeah, it's going to be 53 on Saturday morning.
Be a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning.
We'll revisit this then, because I bet it'll still be quite toasty.
In the sun, because that sun ain't going down for sure.
Going down.
I will also say this. I didn't really ever think about it. I think we might have talked about it last week. The breeze. I don't know if it was the fact that it was the Saturday night or if it was truly the massive hole that was allowing the breeze in, but there was a very nice breeze the whole evening. I felt like it was more so than Timothy, what we normally get down there, down low. I don't recall the breeze feeling quite that nice. So I don't know. Shout out to the hole getting a little bit of air circulation in that place.
And you could tell they went through with an industrial size pressure washer and cleaned that entire place, man.
Yeah.
It looked good.
It did have a little bit of a sparkle to it, didn't it?
Yeah. It looked nice, man. But can't you see, so where the hole is, where they have that wall up, that branded wall, can't you kind of start seeing the picture? Like,
I can see it. I was already picturing that being like the party deck. There were people up there walking around. I was like, I can see it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to look good.
What are the plans for the side you guys are on now? Like, are they leaving that alone, or is that going to be, are they doing anything over there?
No, that's all part of phase 3. I don't remember exactly
3.
what it was. It's like the halo and updating. I don't know. The exterior of the boxes or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I didn't pay attention. I turned around. Is the press box still red? Is it still outlined in red?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's updating that. Let's get some blue on there.
Well, I think that's part of the Liberty aspect of it from the Liberty Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody on the field, and they said they're a part of the football program, and they said that they were going to be adding in all of the, like, not techno kind of stuff, but the lights and the LEDs and all that kind of stuff.
The halo, all that stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, the lights, so we could freaking have a rave every time we score.
Yes.
Well, I thought it was all outside lights. I thought it was more like they've
no,
already done the blue lights, but
it's inside the field. I think it's inside
good.
That's
such an
temporary
easy way
lights
to
that
make it better.
they put up. I will say felt a lot brighter. I don't know why.
I couldn't tell that much of a difference, to be honest with you.
I think it's because they're lower,
Mm-hmm.
and so if there was a ball kicked or a high thrown pass, I was catching it in the light and just. I think that's what it is. I think it's because the lights are sitting a little bit lower, so I was actually.
I will say, I do feel like at the angle that I was shooting my camera at, that I kept catching more of the lights than I ever did before. So I think that I never put 2 and 2 together, but that's probably exactly what it was.
I think it's the light height.
Yeah,
I think it sure is.
Yeah,
anyway,
Ryan talked about it. He said that they brought the kickers and we'll talk about the kickers in a second, but they brought out everybody and just like play under these lights because they're very different than what you're going to than what you were used to last year. Yeah.
Well, I think, like you said, it was clean. It looked good. Everything was. I will just say, and we've had this issue almost every year, regardless of there being construction going on or not. But getting into the facility is an absolute nightmare
for no reason, too.
Every time.
What was it this time?
Just
Same
tickets.
thing. The gates are backed up. People, ticket stuff going on. Like, ticket's not working. They won't scan. The app's not working. The lines are wrapped around the building because everybody goes to the same gate right there. Like, it's just difficult getting in there.
It's definitely not helpful that you already reduced the number of gates you can even go in right now. So, what are you gonna do? You know,
I don't know. Ed Scott tweeted out though that he's working on getting it resolved as quickly as possible.
Good.
And it's crazy because there were a ton of empty seats inside there on Saturday night. Like, it was not. Did it not feel like I thought we were going to see very few empty seats based on.
Yeah, especially when they say the capacity is what, like 32,000?
32, yeah. And had
there was 26 in there.
Yeah, whatever it was.
It did not look. I mean, I don't want to.
I mean, also, granted, there's 4 sections that are totally blocked off that weren't removed but are taped off that can't be sat in. So that doesn't help because it makes it feel like you've got these huge empty areas. But it's one, they moved the pyrotechnics over to those 2 sections so they can't have people sitting where ashes are falling all over them. So that makes it feel a lot more empty. And then it's hard for us to see on the side we're at how many empty seats there were. I will say it was 100% more filled in than it normally is, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt emptier than I was anticipating it feeling.
It did. Absolutely, it did.
Given the reduced capacity.
I thought it was still
it'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I think it was fine.
Do you think that wall being gone kind of filtered some of the crowd noise out? Because it just did not sound loud at all in there. Like, you could hear.
Oh, 100. Yeah, 100. I think it does 100%, especially with all of the crowd is screaming in that direction. It's all just escaping out the other side, right? Like,
yeah,
there's nothing kind of keeping it, or it's not bouncing off stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, all the sound is on one side and it's pushing straight out of the stadium. So it's gonna be like that. I mean,
I also think that, there weren't
UNA.
Yeah, there weren't a ton of opportunities for the crowd to really get loud on Saturday.
It was a very workmanlike crowd for a very workmanlike team on Saturday night. Just
a real
get in,
blue collar.
Just get in, get your business done, and get out.
Bring your lunch pail, clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, week 1 recap, 40-0. First shutout since
the last time we played them.
Yeah. November 2022 when we shut out UNA 59-0. All around, it felt like a fine game. I mean, it wasn't terribly exciting. They came out and did what they needed to do. You were favored by what? 37 or 37.5?
Yeah.
You covered a shutout. I will say this, the defense, it's hard to come out and immediately be like, oh, the defense is much better. But I will say the things that you can tell, one, tackling was much better than it's been the last couple of years. And dudes were flying around to the football. They were hitting. So I think, though, like, immediate things that you can visibly see, we'll see obviously this week and as we progress into the season what the defense is actually looking like and how much better they are. But I think those things, tackling, speed on that side of the field, getting to the ball, like, those were obvious to me. I would say
it was the speed for me that was really noticeable this year.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They created three takeaways.
Yeah, I thought they were noticeably faster, to kind of to Kenny's point. Like, and I think they even mentioned that in the post-game show of more so making the defense less complicated. So they're not having to pause and react, like read and react on exactly what's going on of, is there a guy crossing my face? Do I need to stay in my zone? Like, kind of what I need to do. It seems like they've just kind of simplified the defense, and it just allows people to react faster. And I thought it showed up. And I don't know if that's just because it's UNA and maybe they are just not as fast as we are, but it just seemed like everybody was getting to the ball very quickly.
Yeah, Hankins talked about that in the offseason too, of simplifying things, not because our guys can't comprehend or understand it, right? More so to what you're saying is if they're thinking less, then they're able to just go out there and play.
Yeah,
And usually when you're just playing, that's when you're at your best.
sure.
So yeah, it felt like that. It'll be interesting to see how the defense continues to look as we get into week 2 and 3. And
I do feel like UNA was such a weird opponent for them in this first game because of the stuff they ran. They ran really weird stuff. And so it does seem like
they ran that damn jet sweep reverse pass like 5 times. And I'm like, what the hell is this play? Literally a jet sweep. Then the dude pulls a U-turn into a rollout to throw the ball. Why? I don't know. I mean, I felt like they were running it every 10th play.
Yeah, it's also hard.
Wasn't he their
count for quarterbacks too?
Yeah, he was their backup quarterback, the guy that was running the jet sweep and then doing that turn, right? Like he was their backup quarterback.
I mean, what is that? Whatever. I mean, that play design is. It also, it wasn't like a quick turnaround. My dude is making like a big loop to turn around. It was not a quick play. Like it was very slow and long developed. Like, I don't know.
It was so slow it felt broken. It didn't feel it didn't
goofy.
Feel like it was I mean, it clearly was.
I feel like somebody just needs to tell him like, hey, let's change direction quickly. Not, I mean, I felt like the dude was in a sailboat and he was like,
yeah, exactly what
turning around. Like, yeah, they could see you turning from space, my guy. Like, he was turning around so slow.
No, that's funny. No, that's true though. That's true.
It's such a weird game to kind of get your head around it, like because we're sitting there talking about how the defense looked great. And then you kind of look at the offensive side of things and they're like, maybe not so great.
Yeah, I mean,
but wasn't awesome.
It wasn't awesome, and it wasn't terrible either, right? I mean, Seth had a good night, 73% completion, 22 of 30, 308, 2 tutties. Mario Anderson with 2 rushing touchdowns. Doyle and Lansfear both caught a touchdown pass. Just 64 rushing yards against UNA, who a week ago, they gave up like 170 to SEMO or something.
No, it was like 270, I thought.
No, wasn't it? It was that much. Let me double check that. But still, less than 65 rushing yards. And it's just disappointing because I felt like we've been hearing so much about the offensive line and how talented that group is and how deep that group is. And we've got 8 starters and it's just trying to find the right combination. And to be honest, the offensive line was probably the weakest part outside of kicking. We'll get there in a second. To me, I felt like in all 3 phases, the offensive line is what needs the most improvement.
Really? I don't know if yes, there were some really noticeable things that happened, rushing the quarterback, not opening up lanes, things like that. But I didn't notice it throughout the entire game that there was just struggles. It felt like a lot of the issues they had were miscommunications because most of these guys had never played together. Like that's what it felt like to me, more so than it being these guys are just like sticks, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was a talent or schematic. I think it was more than likely, these dudes playing live week 1 together for the first time and some communication stuff. And I'm not saying they were awful or anything. I'm just saying of everything that was out there Saturday, I feel like that's the area that you need to see the most improvement from. I mean, you can't just 65 rushing yards against an FCS school is not getting it done. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. But I think that there's also a reason, right? They're probably just running 1 or 2 plays. They're not trying to give anything away. Like you shouldn't need to roll anything out when you're playing UNA, right? It's going to be inside zone, outside zone. It's going to be pretty simple stuff. I think they did say that they got a lot of 3-man fronts. I think they were kind of confusing the D line or the offensive line a little bit. I think they were expecting more 4-man, but I mean, there were definitely some guys that struggled, right? I mean, I think I went back and watched it, and who was it? Jonah had a rough couple of drives.
Keydrell Lewis had
Keydrell
had a rough.
Chris Morris had a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much everybody, right? I mean, there were just a couple of them. You're like, all right, you're kind of getting shoved back, and it just. I think it was more first game jitters. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. I know I put a poll out on the Discord and said, "How would you grade the game for the Tigers?" They looked improved. It was just first game jitters, which is kind of where I'm at. I think was it a B? They look good, but have some things to clean up. Which I guess I'm more so somewhere between A and B. C, kind of a letdown by the production, and D, meh. They played a trash team. 3 votes for meh. They played a trash team. I was a little surprised by that.
By the lack of votes, or by that it was 3 votes?
That was 3 votes. I mean,
I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm surprised it's not more. You know how Memphis Tiger football fans are, man. It's Tigers come out, win 40-0, shut out a team, and it's a lot of doom and gloom already out there. It's crazy.
It is a little weird. You know, we talked about it right before we started recording. What was it? The Tigers started on their average field position was their own 40-yard line. So it's like
they had 40 yards to play with on average.
Yeah. It's not like you could make, you know, I think they had that 170-yard drive, and that was just like the opening kickoff kind of situation.
Right.
Everything else was second drive was they lost 4 yards. 52-yard drive, 54, 26, 35, 27, 59, 63. And then the end of the game was just 3 and out, and then they punted. But, you know, what are we talking about? I mean, I get how you probably wanted to see a little more explosive run play, more production from the run play in general, right? I mean, I get that. Whatever. I'm going to chalk it up as first game jitters, just everyone kind of gelling together more so. I feel pretty confident they'll look much better against Troy, even with some of the running back issues here.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what things look like on Saturday, and we'll segue into this. Speaking of the running game, how much of the lack of production from the backfield do we think is due to the fact that Sutton went out with what did not look like a very promising? I don't know that injuries ever look promising, but some are not as severe looking as others. And based on whatever air cast brace he had on, the crutches going back to the locker room, it does not sound like I think we're waiting to get an MRI. So hopefully, I think by the time this comes out on Wednesday, we'll have the results of that. But I'm hoping for like some sort of knee sprain or something that's 2-3 month time period and not some kind of season long thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to Sutton before the game, and I think I even told you guys during the game that Sutton had there's always those off seasons where players come back and you're like, okay, like this person has changed. Like he's gone from being a athletic young man to being a full grown looking dude, right? Kenny Gainwell went through it his second year coming back, and then he ended up leaving. But he came back after that in 2019 year and was a redshirt freshman, played his ass off, was incredible. Came back the next year and he just looked different. He just looked, and that was Sutton this year. Sutton looks different. Like he's been here for 3 years. He's a true junior, just looks different. And so it was, and he was telling me before the game, he was like, man, I have put in so much work this offseason. I can't wait to show. He told me 3 times, I can't wait to show you. I can't wait to show you. And so I'm like, man, gosh, devastated for that kid, man.
I know. I hate it. Like, I'm so excited to see him.
Yeah.
And if that is something, and it was our freaking like second possession of the game.
Yeah, it's really early.
And just a goofy kind of rolled up on his cleat, looked like he got stuck kind of thing. Like,
yeah, I think when the guy tackled him, he just kind of grabbed him and started rolling. It looks like he just rolled over. And
I watched the replay when I got home, and it's his leg bent in a way that you shouldn't really be bending knees.
I'm also curious how much of that comes into it. Was the game plan against UNA more so to focus Sutton? And then the
Yes.
moment he went out, it's like, okay, let's pivot. We got to figure out something else. And now it's just inside zone Mario.
Yeah. And I think Mario did fine. Well, he had 10 rushes for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. It wasn't like, obviously it's not any eye-popping stuff, but he was almost 5 yards a carry. He's fine.
You weren't asking him to do much. I think that's what people need to truly understand, right? You weren't asking him to go out there and just be the bell cow and take 20 carries and try to get 100 yards, right? I mean, I think it was just more so where it flowed into the offense. They were clearly moving the ball through the air as a priority.
Well, fellas, it's official. Boston College is kneeling the clock out inside the 5. Could have put another one up and been up 35. What is it? 35-13, 35-14, 13.
Yeah.
But they're going to kneel it out. Win with class, right
what
there.
What a horrible start for Florida State. Jesus.
Yeah. Starting 0-3 after the first month of the season is going to be brutal.
I mean, it sucks that it's us.
Anyway, very quickly, what'd y'all think of Greg DeRosier?
All right, can we get that before you answer that? Everyone is saying DeWosier now.
It's DeWosier. It's DeWosier.
Man, what a curveball.
Where's a W in there?
He's French.
It's the SR combo.
Right.
It is DeWosier.
It's DeWosier.
Okay.
He's bigger. He's bigger than I thought he was. He's big. He's a thick kid.
Thick 2C, double C thick?
Triple C.
Wow. Wow, that is thick.
You can tell
5-yard tutty rush,
though.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a speedsty.
Yeah, you can tell he's got some juice behind him. I hate that he is number 13 because I think that's just an ugly number for running back. But what are you gonna do? I guess get in where you get in. I guess. But no, he looked good. I mean, it was limited carries. Obviously, now if Sutton truly is out, DeWosier, Mario Anderson, and then we saw Makari Bodyford.
How big?
17
years old.
That is I am very, very high on him going forward. Obviously, as a 17-year-old kid, like, what do you truly expect? But like, he's big. I mean, that he very much so reminds me of the running back from Tulane who is skipping me right now. Mackay Hughes. Maybe it's because their names are similar, but they just physically look the same.
So if Sutton is out, are you guys? Do you think that the lightning and flash, the thunder and the boom, whatever you want to call it, that was supposed to happen with Sutton Smith and Mario Anderson? Do you think Mario can fill in the gaps on where Sutton was going to thrive at? Because that is a concern for me, I think.
I don't know that he fills in all of them, but what I will say, Mario is very capable of being the primary starting back, and you have enough weapons offensively that I think you find other ways to make those plays that Sutton probably provides. I don't think it all falls on Mario. It's a combination of Demir getting rock the ball more, Kobe more touches, hitting the tight ends, DeWosier. I mean, we've seen highlights of his ability. So, maybe he steps up and is catching a pass out of the backfield and breaking it or something. So, I was seeing Sutton go down as very, very disappointing because, like you said, I mean, to me, he felt like he was going to be like the Tony Pollard-esque for this team.
They went to him
making those.
They went to him out of the backfield twice.
Right.
They did that immediately on the first drive. First play of the game was to the out into the flats for him, and then he went streaking down the sideline. Right, which felt very reminiscent of what they try to do with Kenny all the time. So I guess that's about that. If that's what they're doing, if those are scripted plays in the first drive of the game, that seems very clear to me that that's what they wanted to focus on with him. And I'm like, is there anybody that can do that for them now if Sutton is gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think Duosier could fill that role. I think what is so different is if you're going to rely on Mario to be your main inside runner kind of situation, you're probably not going to be throwing the ball to him too much because you're trying to use Sutton as a mismatch against a linebacker in most of those situations. Because the moment he gets in space on some of those throws that you're talking about, like he's going to get the extra 10 yards. Like he's just faster than everybody. He was way more electric. He was able to get out in space in front of them. And it's not that Mario's slow. It's just not really his game, right? I mean, he is a big body who could just take the hit and keep bouncing off people inside. So I would imagine Duosier gets kind of worked in there, and then they're just going to have to slightly just kind of configure the offense in a different way to not look at the running back so much. And that's not to say that they won't throw it to Duosier or to Anderson. I think they'll figure that out, right? I mean, Cramsey's been pretty creative for us, so I think they'll figure something out there.
I'm muted. I think what we're going to see a lot of is those tight ends are really going to be used. They're going to be high usage players now, like even more so than what they already were. And I was, again, like Trey was saying earlier, I was impressed by them. They played really good ball on Saturday night.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon Doyle taking that rock to, it was a 32-yard pass, 37-yard pass or something, touchdown pass.
Yeah.
And, bouncing off that defender, making the other guy miss and getting in the end zone and that far out. That's a big dude making that play.
I mean, freaking knock on wood, but like once you get into the red zone, it does not feel like it would be fun to play defense against Memphis because you just have so many different weapons that could take off and score.
Yeah, so many people to try to defend.
Not that I'm trying to like jinx us there, but.
Which UNA did not do on Anthony on that one goal line pass. I mean, my guy he could have sat down crisscross applesauce and caught that tutty pass.
Yeah.
He could have turned around like that jet sweep fake reverse pass guy. Gone the other direction.
A sailboat. He could have sailboated it.
Could have paddle boated that thing. All right, final thoughts on week 1, UNA. Like I said, I think they did what they had to do. You come out, you cover, you blank sheet a team that had already played a game, right? They had kind of already had an opportunity to work out some kinks, got some film against another opponent, things to identify and work on. It wasn't no 73-0 Lane Kiffin style, but I'll take a 40-0 win any day. And it easily could have been 54. I mean, I can think of two Tutty-esque passes that were dropped.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't ever get to see the replay, but the Chandler Martin scoop and score. I mean, that's another there's a couple of plays that are keeping that from being 14, 21 additional points on the board, right?
I can't believe this is the first time all episode we've mentioned Chandler Martin.
He is so freaking good. It's unbelievable. We talk about speed. My dude's all over the field. It's unreal how good he is.
Dude,
I think it's mostly because we all just don't really know how to take this game just yet. Like that's kind of what we have just seen out of Chandler at this point in time. But is it kind of highlighted because it's UNA, right? He's just a tick faster than most players on their team, or is it?
He's going to be a tick
he's a
faster
freak.
than most players on every team. My dude tried to leg sweep the UNA quarterback and still was able to make
and still got him and still got him down. Yes,
missed the leg sweep, but like spun and still tackled him on the ground. I don't understand it.
Who is the JJ, the linebacker a few years ago? Is it JJ? What's his name? The
JJ Russell.
JJ Russell. Yes, JJ was fast, but JJ also was a hit stick, right? Like he hit people hard. Chandler is fast, and if he gets his hands on you, you are not getting away. You're not going anywhere.
No.
You're going to the ground.
It's unbelievable.
It's so crazy. It's like he's got stickum on his hands, and he just gets a hold of you, and it is a wrap. Like, just go to the ground, stop fighting, just go to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting away from him.
He's special, man.
Yeah, look at that. 8 tackles, 6 solo, 2.5 for a loss. It's going to be another one of those years where he puts up 17 tackles for loss. That's ridiculous. Did anyone else stand out for you on defense?
Kobe Minor.
Yeah. And it's interesting too because he didn't have a ton of tackles, but
he had that one hit right? where he read it perfectly. But I don't know, something about the way he looks on the football field is different than a lot of the corners we've had. I feel like he just looks different as a corner out there.
Yeah, I mean,
just the way that his presence on the field. I don't know. He just seems like a real playmaking cornerback.
Yeah, I feel really good about our starting corners right now because, I said it last year. I never thought it made any sense to move Ross away from corner to that star position, whatever they want to call it. I love Ross being right on the outside. Now with Minor, I feel really good about that. And if you're going to beat us over the middle or you're going to make somebody have to, make an offensive play where you're waiting on us to make a mistake, then whatever. But I don't think we're going to get beat on the outside very often. I feel pretty confident.
I was impressed with AJ Moss. I thought he played a good game. There wasn't many like that. That was the one good thing about this week, I think, is that there wasn't any player that I go, he stood out as somebody who just couldn't hang out there,
Yeah. I think you meant Watts, but I knew what you meant.
He looked good. He did. He looked good. That was one of the transfer players where I didn't
AJ
really
Watts. Sorry. Yeah, Watts.
I didn't know what to think about him, but yeah, he looked good. Watts played well. Greer, I thought, played well in those spots. Edmondson, I think Bryce Edmondson had
a good game. Yeah.
I was curious if we're going to see him. We talked about, is it going to be Greg? Is it going to be Bryce? It kind of depends what they're running. But I thought Bryce had a really good game.
We got a lot of Bryce the other night.
Yeah, there was at one point I thought he was going to kill somebody. He came flying in. He got a good shot on him, but the guy got up.
William Whitlow Jr. looked awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's very good.
They all looked good. Reggie Grimes got out there after we had heard he might not play much because of recovering from the ACL, but he is a monster. He's
a big guy.
Very, very big.
It's 6'5", 280. Yeah, he's pretty big.
I walked on the field and I was like, oh, okay. You're a different size dude. Like you're big.
Yeah, it's interesting. Whitlow only picks up for 2 tackles, but you get the 1 sack, a hurry, a forced fumble, 2 tackles for loss. I mean, it's the little things I think that are going to stand out. Now can you see those against, more credible opponents? I think is where we want to see that, a little more consistency with him. But that's a guy who's been around for what feels like 4 years now, but maybe it's only 3.
I know. I feel like Whitlow's been here for so long.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I think he got a lot of early playing time once he first got here, but then he was always behind Jalen, or he was always just behind somebody else, right? One of the seniors or juniors, things like that. But I'm glad to see him stand out because he's definitely been around for a bit. I'm trying to think, anybody else on defense? Obviously, our boy from Harvard got an interception, which not helping us out with our statistics, man. It's not who we picked.
It's not who we picked, but I think I did take Chandler to score the first defensive tutty, and it should have counted.
Yeah, it didn't.
It should have counted. All right, with that, we'll be right back. We'll talk Ryan Silverfield addressing media today and some of his post-game comments, I think, on Willow were very interesting. We'll preview Troy, big one coming up inside the Liberty Hole at 11 a.m. I'm going to take a quick gander with you fellas at the FPI rankings because they updated after this first week, and they're interesting to say the least. And then we'll jump into Fade TJ and Thunder picks, and then we'll vamp out of here for week 2. We'll be right back.
We didn't need to make a splashy move, man. I mean, you can check my Twitter feed anytime you want, man. I have been on the side of this is a very good team as constructed. This is a team that's going to be a threat to host or be in the Western Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. This is a team that has a very high potential as constructed, right? And some of these fools get on here and talk about, oh, we didn't make a move. We got worse, this, that, and the other. I would have.
Getting
Some
worse
team,
is crazy.
that's crazy, man. And like sometimes adding makes your team worse. Like you got a locker room cancer, like, you know, somebody that comes in and messes with the young core. And just because you made the splashy move, your team might be worse.
Why would you make changes to a team that you haven't even seen yet? Like we haven't seen Marcus Smart play with these guys. We haven't seen Vince. We haven't seen Gigi. Haven't seen Edie.
That's it, man.
This is a version of the Grizzlies we've never seen. Like even if you take the whole Edie part out, the Marcus Smart, Vince Williams, Gigi with Ja Jaren and Bane, we haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So why are we let's see what that looks like, you know, before we do anything.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Next Olympic coach, there are reports of two guys, and I don't think it's any surprise. And because everybody's kind of been talking about these two guys, Eric Spoelstra or Ty Lue, possibly the next head coach. Not that Steve Kerr is going to get fired. Kerr kind of made it known from the beginning that he was going to do it for 2 years, and then he would cycle through and bring somebody else in. I'm good with both. I just think Eric Spoelstra may deserve it more.
It's a definite toss-up. You can flip a coin for me, and whichever one the decision was, I would be extremely happy with. I would only want the other to still be a part of the staff. I think what has made them be able to be successful, especially with the communication side, is by having both of those guys on the bench.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Dirty. I've been a nasty girl, nasty.
Yo, did y'all hear the song?
No, I'd already left. TJ's muted.
We're talking about
The song at the end of the game, the DJ at the Liberty Bowl played Someone Match My Nasty, and it's the most, it
This
was
is the
absurd.
I've been a nasty girl that song. Yes,
someone,
it is.
Someone Match My Nasty. Yeah, it was bad.
Why was it bad?
Because it was talking about put it on me, this, that, and the third. Like, yeah, it was rough.
Wow.
It was rough.
someone watch my nasty. That's what it's called.
Someone match.
My nasty.
Someone match my nasty.
I don't know.
I've never heard of this song.
Did Coach quote it today in his press conference? He wants somebody to match his nasty.
He did not.
We'll start with the immediate post-game comments. We didn't get to it in the recap because we're going to talk about it right now. But the kicking game, I have never heard Ryan Silverfield as candidly upset as he was on Dave Woloshin immediately following the game. I had numerous people texting, talking about it. I mean, he did not hold back on Caden Costa. And we're talking about a guy that missed 2 field goals. 1, a 50-yarder wide left, and 2, missed a PAT, which I think we've done at least once the last 7 years.
Every year.
Probably. I mean, we know for a fact it happened last year because one of our best friends lost about $2,000 because we doinked it off the upright. Do a pick 'em pot. I think we've talked about it before. So I know we missed one last year, and I don't think he was that mad about it. I mean, Jonathan was that mad about it, but Coach wasn't. He essentially came out and said it was totally unacceptable. He was going to have to figure it out. He didn't know if that guy was going to be kicking for us going forward. Also, I was like, whoa. I didn't think missing a 50-yarder was that. It's no chip shot, Coach.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go back and watch them. Were they like ugly and not
Oh,
end?
The extra point almost
one
killed-
was kind of weird looking.
It almost killed people. Like it didn't. It went under the
Yeah.
Okay.
uprights.
Before we go any further, can we talk about the worst field goal attempt of the night inside the Liberty Hole?
Wow.
Was the gentleman, and I'm sorry if you're a fan and you're listening, we know that you probably are, but the 30-yard field goal attempt for $5,000 off of a tee that literally went 2 yards was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. That guy tried to kick so hard. And I don't know if like maybe just his shoelace hit the ball, but that ball barely fell off the tee and just rolled 2 yards forward.
Was he an athlete? Was he
He
athletic?
should have.
Clearly
I mean,
no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he just
Clearly
looked like a
not,
normal,
right?
normal guy. Shout out to Mello though for draining the same field goal for Whataburger for a year. That was a beautiful kick.
Yeah, that was a good kick.
What is going on? Who's playing this? This is the song. I was singing this. They played this in the Liberty Hole.
Oh yeah.
That's be our new intro song.
Yep.
What's wrong with this song?
Yeah, that was actually an atrocious attempt, and I think he needs a redemption tour. They need to turn this into a small
No,
documentary.
he needed to have paid $5,000 for what he did on that football field.
I would not be shocked if we see videos on YouTube on him practicing.
Look, TJ and I can
Making his way
speak
back.
for this. A couple of years ago, we went to White Station Middle School. A bunch of
Good
us, we
stuff.
tried to kick field goals. It's not easy. Okay,
So
it's not.
we had this conversation on the bluff. Would you guys want to join Gabe and Christian on testing out 35-yard field goals and see how many you would make? They've put a bet on it, best out of 5. How many would they make? Gabe seems to think he'll make all 5.
0% chance.
Would you guys want to join on this?
Trade plays soccer, so he has the motion down.
I can't. I'm not a kicker. I can't.
I think Gabe will make 0 out of 5.
Yes, he is not making
Yeah,
a field
like, I
goal
mean-
from 35 yards. Also, are we talking about off of like a kicking tee, or are we talking about truly
yes,
holding it?
We're
field
Yeah,
gonna
goal?
do. We're gonna do a tee.
Replicate.
Yeah.
Okay, if you do it like a kickoff tee, then maybe. But if
I don't know.
if we're talking, he's got a holder. If Christian's down holding it as if it's a normal field goal, Gabe may not get a ball off the ground.
Wow. Let's not forget
I think
Gabe
he
is
makes
a
one of
goal
five.
before.
former professional football player. I just
Well,
want to throw
that's-
that
It
out.
doesn't mean that he's kicked
Relevance.
football
Yeah, relevance.
through the
I'm
upright.
just saying, it's not like he's not ever done this before.
What are you already just said he wouldn't make one.
I'm just, I can say this about my guy. I'm trying to defend him
Okay.
right now.
I'll do it. I don't think that I will. If we're doing it off a tee, I could probably make one. But if
I
we're
know
doing
he-
it through somebody holding it, I'm probably not making one.
You can only make the argument for I was a D1 athlete so much. I don't know if it comes into play when kicking field goals if you didn't kick field goals.
I feel you. Did y'all see the kid from Texas A&M?
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up because that's the only
Yeah.
one that I've ever seen make it, and he only made it because they gave him a second chance.
He had a kick for 25,000 and he shanked it completely, like it wasn't even close. Then Pat McAfee said, "I'll give you another shot for 50,000," and he
Only
banged
because
it.
the crowd chanted for a second one. Also, I feel like that's much tougher because that's like a tee shot in golf. You've got
people around him.
hundreds of people lining in a very narrow, like
Yeah.
somebody weekly gets drilled in the face usually. But I feel like that's a much tougher situation.
Yeah.
And you got Herb Street holding it.
Yeah. Herb
You
Street
wanna
was holding it.
kiss-
It wasn't even
You
teed
don't
up.
wanna- Yeah, you don't want to kick his hand.
Yeah, he's a
If he's
a gold
professional.
man.
Yeah, if it's teed, you probably got a shot. If we're going just true old school holder off the turf, off the deck, it is not an easy thing to do if you have not kicked field goals and don't know how to do it.
So we should do a Tigers Untapped versus On the Bluff competition and see how it goes down.
Okay, we can do it.
I'm not going to make any. I'm a toe
What 10
kicker.
total
I'm gonna run
kicks,
up and-
or is it like Christian holds and Gabe kicks and TJ holds and I kick?
10 total kicks for both shows.
TJ's gonna
only
show up
if you
in
are
Birkenstocks.
snapping it. Yeah, you got to snap it through your legs.
I gotta-
I got to catch it.
I got to do this the whole time.
I'm not bad at long snapping.
Yeah, but
do
you're
it.
kicking.
Are you
Yeah,
Colby
we're off
Cox
topic
level?
here.
Are you Colby Cox level?
No,
Oh,
I haven't worked on the craft for that like that.
Speaking
I'm just
of,
saying,
let's
I
just
can get
get
a
Colby
snap.
out there.
I can get a snap back there though.
Actually, don't get
Say
Colby
that
out there. I
much.
don't want to break a finger.
Two other comments I wanted to touch on. Ryan also mentioned today about the first. This is kind of the first. That was the first game of the helmet communication, and one of the things he was talking about was UNA was literally waiting until almost the 15-second mark to call their play in, because that means the communication shuts off and we couldn't talk to Chandler anymore.
So crazy. I love it.
Isn't that wild?
love it.
I never
love
even this whole time I never would have thought about that. I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of genius.
Can you say all that again? My headphones accidentally closed them up.
Saturday, Ryan said UNA was waiting until 17 seconds to call their play in, because at 15 on the play clock, the communication shuts off. So they'd call a play in, and then we couldn't talk to Chandler.
How'd that work out for him?
I mean, obviously it didn't work well, but I thought that was very interesting. That was their approach, is like, hey, let's wait until the last possible second.
I'll tell you what their play call was. I saw it the whole time. Sailboat.
I do want to know what the signals for that play were.
But it is smart.
They loved that play so much. They wanted it to work so bad.
Yeah.
It is kind of a smart thing to do for them, though. I mean,
is it to run it that many times? Hey, try it again.
No. I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh, the 50. Yeah. That's smart.
So you're just going to be in base defense every time. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, after the first half, I probably would have gone with a different method, but
I found it interesting that around that topic that Ryan also was like, I don't care if other opponents hear what I'm about to say either, which I don't feel like is normally like him. I feel like he always wants to kind of have an edge.
Yeah,
schematically, strategically.
He's a different dude.
And he was just, I kind of liked that, like, F it mentality. They can do it if they want to. I believe in my guys. Kind of is what I kind of got from it. Which, yeah, if UNA, I mean, obviously they're far inferior, but it wasn't a big advantage for them. So
keep going. I'm gonna wait until, because mine's not really.
Okay. So the last one was roster. I think you can have 120 guys on roster this year. Is that right?
Yes.
We're building to that number. Of note, though, it came out last week. I think was that end of July that Taj Rael had left. He had tweeted he was finding another school to play for. Late last week, he posted on Instagram 15 pictures of him in the Tigers uniform, with some strange lyrics that some were saying sounded like he was done. But with all the pictures of him in Memphis, people were like, I think he's back. Sure enough, Friday morning, he's back on Go Tigers Go website on the roster. Ryan was asked about it. We saw Saturday, he was at the game in the stands, though. But he is back on the team.
And Ryan said he will be playing this week.
Expected to dress out this week against Troy.
Yep.
There were rumors floating around, and Coach says rumors aren't true. If you want to know what really happened, contact him. But then he also went on to say, we've added an additional running back. Who else? What did he say? A wide receiver?
I think wide receiver,
tight end.
Yeah.
We've added multiple positions, and nobody's asked about those.
So apparently, and I didn't know this, TJ, I didn't know this at all, but apparently you get down to 120 after, like, during fall training camp. And then afterwards, the NCAA comes back in and does I guess they kind of look at your roster. Maybe it's the compliance office at Memphis that looks at the roster, and there's a Title IX process they go through, and they say there's places you have this many more roster spots available to you once fall camp is over. And that's where these guys, and that's what he's saying, Taj Rael filled one of those spots, right? Like that he filled one of those kind of Title IX roster spots, which you can say what you want. Taj Rael coming back compared to getting some random tight end, random wide receiver, random running back is not the same thing, right? Like, it's just not.
It's not.
One thing I did notice, and I'm not going to call him a liar. I don't know if they've added a tight end or not. They did add a receiver. But they also added, what is his name? Cameron Upshaw Jr., who was in this last recruiting class.
Yeah.
But I think he was listed as a JUCO player, as if he had.
Wasn't that one of the
he had
names he
another
mentioned
year.
today?
He mentioned today Cameron Upshaw Jr. Yep.
Yes, that was the guy. He started at South Carolina and then went JUCO. And I think he was supposed to take another year in JUCO before he actually joined the Tigers. Then all of a sudden, he's been added to the roster spot. So it's interesting to me. Maybe that was something they were trying to wait to see if they had spot for him. But it was originally rolled out that he was not going to be joining the team this year and that he would come on next year. They also brought in Colby Phillips, who is a DB who I think started at Tulane and then left from Tulane to go to somewhere in Florida, I believe. No, Southern. So he from Tulane to Southern, and now is coming to Memphis. So it's just interesting. I mean, they were definitely adding some pieces there a little late. I don't know who's a walk on and who isn't, but Cameron Upshaw, I mean, there's talent there.
What position?
What he will be interesting. I think he's technically a safety, but is that a safety as in what we think of safety? As in like AJ Watts, is he like a free safety, strong safety, or will he play that tiger position, kind of where Greg is kind of situation? So safety is probably your safest bet there. But I don't know. It's interesting. They've definitely added some pieces. I know I saw a D line on there. I don't remember seeing anything about a tight end though. So who's to say?
We might have made up the tight end part. I can't remember.
No, I do remember him saying tight end, but I might be wrong too. I don't know.
This dude, I don't even know who this guy is. Kind of. Oh wait, it may be. I think it's this guy, Clayton Harris, but I thought he was supposed to play D line because apparently he played tight end. Whatever.
Y'all think Cortland Marsh's injury had something to do with bringing Taj Rael back?
Yeah, I mean it seems too coincidental if not. I mean, especially since Rael was one of the guys who was working to get this play the same spot, right? Rael's 6'2", very flexible where he can play him. He can play that tiger position. He can play your strong safety. He's got snaps under his belt. I mean, it doesn't make sense to, if you need depth at that position and you have a guy there and, seemingly he got in trouble, was no longer on the team. And then all of a sudden he comes back once you find out an injury's out there. It lines up in a certain way, right?
Hey, I'm all about second chances, right? Like I don't think anybody was thinking negatively. I do think the one response that kind of riled Ryan Silverfield up a little bit was that it just seems so different from anything he's ever done in terms of that kind of stuff, right? Like bringing players back. Like it's just is this the first time he's done that? And from maybe he's done that and we don't know about it, but it like such a public way. It feels like the first time he's done that since he's been the head coach.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know that it's happened like you're saying publicly where somebody announced that they were gone or it had been announced that they were gone and then they were brought back.
They were announced he was gone, removed off the GoTigersGo.com, and then now put back on before the first game.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, I think that is more. I don't think it's ever happened because I think Ryan typically runs a pretty tight ship, and you kind of have like those high character guys that typically aren't getting in trouble. I think it's one of those types of situations, so it hasn't really had the opportunity to happen just yet. But
yeah,
it does seem uncharacteristic of him if the rumors are true that he got in trouble, got kicked off, and then they brought him back. So, but second chance, give it to me.
Second chance you. It's a hell of a series, and I would love to be that for Taj Rael as long as he's making plays for us.
100%.
All right, fellas, it's week 2. The Troy Trojans come to the Liberty Hole, 11 a.m. kick.
Y'all like those 11? Y'all like those 11 a.m. games? Y'all like them?
It's not my favorite time slot, but I can't complain because we're usually pretty good at 11 a.m. So,
yeah,
it doesn't bode well for taking the kids to the game for sure.
Yeah, it is a tough. Yeah, it's a tough crowd time too. Just Saturdays at 11. There's a lot of other extracurricular activities going on. Like Catherine's got soccer at 10 a.m. on Saturday, so I'm gonna be trying to book it there, and Not going to make it by kick, I'm sure.
In the same boat. Our kids
Troy,
play soccer.
0-1. Coming off of a home loss to Nevada, who took SMU to the wire in week 0. I don't know what.
No, they didn't. They haven't played. They're 1-0. Nevada's 1-0.
No, they're 1-1.
No.
What?
Sorry.
Troy is 1-0.
Oh, my bad.
No, Troy is 0-1.
0-1.
What is happening?
That's my fault.
What's going on?
Their schedule, their record on Yahoo says 1-0. My bad.
Troy jumped out to a 14-0 lead and then fell 28-26 to the Nevada Wolfpack. I don't know what they were favored by, but I'm fairly certain that they were favored to win that ball game. Interestingly enough, line opened Memphis minus 14.5. I looked earlier today, Monday, Labor Day, September the 2nd. It's up to 18. The Tigs are your betting favorites in this one. Does that feel like a lot? Does it feel appropriate?
It feels good. I think I'm okay with that. If we're being honest with ourselves,
18?
when I would get, yeah.
Wow.
I just don't think Troy is that good personally, but I know it's so tough to make a comparison just because of what we've seen from Memphis so far. So limited based off who they've played. But I mean, if you watch that Troy game, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. I mean, you can watch any of it really. I mean, they've got a running back who's pretty good. I mean, he's able to break tackles. He's slow, but he's a lot to bring down. I mean, I think he put up 100 yards versus Nevada.
11 carries, 103 yards, 1 tutty. They got 2 backs that they kind of split carries with. One of them's out, I think. Damian Taylor, junior running back. He had 11 carries for 100 yards, 1 tutty. And then Gerald Green.
The green guy,
is the other. He had 11 carries, 40 yards, and a tutty. Green, they kicked it onside. Nevada fair caught it, and he just decided he was going to absolutely blitz the dude, targeting. So he'll miss the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Our QB, he'll scramble around. He had 10 carries, 28 yards, 20 of 30 with 200 through the air and 1 touchdown from junior Goose Crowder. No interceptions. They had no fumbles. They didn't turn the ball over. Had almost 400 yards total offense, 200 passing yards, 200 rushing, pretty split evenly. 4 penalties. What should we watch out for, TJ? Improvement from the offensive line. What's a ground game look like? Let's get Mario going. Let me get Mario 100 yards on the ground.
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, I think it's going to be another game where they try to keep it simple on offense, right? I don't think they're going to do anything crazy.
It's a kiss game, TJ. Kenny, it's a kiss game. Keep it simple, stupid.
It's a kiss game.
Right. I would love to see Mario go off, right? Like that would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think that you need to.
What is this? Is this the cute dog celebration?
Troy. Yeah. I just don't think you need to do
nothing too
anything
fancy
to beat them.
Yeah.
I think you can keep it pretty straightforward.
Get up 17-21. Start pounding that rock with Mario. Super Mario.
And this day, you know, the one thing I want to see us do better, and it's not, you know, without mentioning the offensive line, is converting more third downs. I think we were like maybe 50% last week. That was a little disappointing to me, but maybe that was also because the offensive line struggles and just really still trying to gel and figure some stuff out.
Yeah, we were 6 of 11 third down conversion. We held UNA to 3 of 15, which was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see better third down conversion on the offensive side of things, especially with the tight ends you have. I mean, 2 very big bodies, very capable of it. I guess when it's a situation of like 3rd and 2, you're probably not going to pass it. You're probably just going to say, hey, you know, at 6 feet, someone just go out there and fall forward kind of situation. But yeah, that's one thing I definitely think that they need to do better.
UNA fumbled the ball 4 times the other night. Is that right? I knew they fumbled at least. I know the one that we recovered. I do not remember them fumbling 3 other times outside of that.
It was at least twice. I am interested to see how we do against their defensive line of Troy, because they do have a 3-down front, and apparently we struggle with 3-down fronts. Or maybe it's just in this one game because they were prepared for a 4-man front and they get a 3-down front. I don't know why that should matter too much personally. I guess, if you're used to blocking this guy, but now you're going to have to go off to a backer, I guess that kind of changes things. But
yeah, it's communication, right?
It is communication. And you saw it a lot. Like there was a lot of times
who's got who.
Where you saw Haller kind of pointing out and kind of calling guys off and things like that. So they seemingly were talking, but it was more in the second half than it was in the first half. So,
yeah. All right. Give me score prediction, first tutty prediction.
I'm going to go 38-17. Tigers win.
You stop. You just took it straight out of my mouth.
Well, there it is. 38-17. Tigers win. And first touchdown. I'm going to go back to the well. I'm going back to Lanphier.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I like that.
I wanted 38-17 so bad.
Well, too late. Dibs. I'm going to lock it in right now.
You always got to throw a field goal in there, I feel like.
Yeah, the problem is when they hit Memphis kicks 2 field goals. And I don't think
or they miss a PAT, or we're going to do something weird on Saturday and come out and go for 2 after our first touchdown and get it.
Yeah, this is the problem is I don't want the Ryan Silverfield petty machete to come out. He's like, we're not kicking any damn field goals, okay? You can't make a field goal.
He's not letting him kick a field goal for a week.
You're grounded.
Gosh, we also only put up 40 on UNA, so then I'm like, ooh, should I go over 40? I'll say 42-24. What?
No, that's fine.
First tutty, I'll say Rock gets it this week. It's probably going to be Mario again, but I'm going to go.
It's going to be Mario. Yeah, we should pick Mario.
Kenny, do you want to throw out a first tutty guess?
First tutty guess is going to be.
Don't say Mario. It's cheating.
I won't say Mario. Let's go. I mean, I think the clear choices are Anthony or Rock, but I'll go Kobe.
I don't hate that. Punt
Kobe.
Return Kobe. That would be sick.
How sick would that be?
That would be sick. It really would.
I'm curious if they find a way to get Demir more involved, because he was not involved much last.
He had that freaking poster out.
The
first drive of the
just,
game, wide open, dropped it in there. I saw it developing, and then I feel like we got nothing else out of him.
Speaking of drops, did you feel like you were being haunted by the ghost of Joe Skates when Marcelo dropped the pass?
Marcelo what?
Bussy.
Marcelo
I wasn't gonna say it because I didn't want to mess with Trey, but just straight through his hands, man.
It was, but he made up for it down the sideline after that.
Good. The next one was a very good,
which was also very kind of Skates-esque though. To drop one and then catch the next one.
Very true.
All right, last thing before we jump into Fade TJ and Thunder Pick. Have you guys looked at the FPI ratings since week 1 concluded?
Mm-mm.
If you had to take a guess where we were at within the American FPI rankings wise, what would you say?
I have no clue. 32nd.
No. I don't mean overall. I'm just saying like out of the American teams, based on FPI, where are we? First, second, third, fifth, ninth.
I'm trying to think of who everybody else played. I'm gonna say third.
We are third.
Yeah.
Which we were second, right behind UTSA.
It was
Why does this keep happening?
What?
Some stupid Xfinity thing keeps popping up, taking over my ESPN login.
Xfinity's having Disney issues.
We dropped 8 spots after our game, but UTSA also dropped 8 spots. So we lost no ground there. Now we're in third because one team in our conference had a hellacious leap after their game. Tulane jumps up from almost 7. They were 69th overall.
Wow.
To 40, a 29-point swing because they beat Southeastern Louisiana 52-0.
Why do they love Tulane so much?
I don't know.
Well,
it's unbelievable. Their current, listen to this, their current percent chance to make the playoff, 20%.
Well, because what other Group of 5 team did anything of note this week? I mean, everybody struggled.
I mean, Boise won. Let's see what it has for them real quick.
They needed a godlike game.
I know. I'm just saying their playoff, they had 23.7% to make.
Yeah, but I think this shows that the FPI awards you if you win big.
I know, but we won big 40-0.
Yeah, I know, but it is weird that we dropped 8 spots and they shot up 29. But
it is, yes. I don't understand that. We're now projected by FPI. This is obviously going to continue to change. We're now projected at 7-5 for the rest of the year, based on where we're at.
Wow.
This week, we're playing number 80, Troy, who's only 6 spots behind us. The FBI is dumb. I don't like it. Anyway.
Yeah. I need to see the metrics on that to understand.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it next week to see how much it's changed. But it seems ridiculous that Tulane jumped 29 spots and we dropped 8. Essentially doing the same thing. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have followed along and you have actually faded TJ and you have followed Thunder picks, right now, at this point in time, you would be 4-0 without having lost a single bet. TJ took Houston to cover the 1.5 against UNLV, and Houston got absolutely schnobbernackled at home to UNLV. What was it, 27-7?
Wasn't good. Wasn't good, Bob.
And I took Georgia minus 13.5 against Clemson, and they absolutely dilly-dackled Clemson 34-3. Just like I knew they would, Kenneth. So I hope you put the mortgage on it.
They beat the brakes off Clemson, man.
Beat their brakes off. They need a brake job.
Yes.
TJ, give me your week 2 fade TJ pick.
I'm actually still toggling between 2 of them as we speak.
Okay. Well, give me both and we'll talk it through.
I'm very impressed with your comeback, TJ. You've done really well so far.
What are you talking about?
You've done really well.
I definitely feel better about Kentucky versus South Carolina, but I think that depends on what line you get it at. I've seen it both at 6.5 and 7.5. And if it's at 7.5, that makes me feel a little bit different. But
yeah, that's tough.
I will take. I'll take Texas to cover against Michigan. I wanted a fun game, and I think that's going to be a fun game. And I heard
one that I was.
Michigan may not. They're doing a quarterback change. Is that true?
I think they're having some real issues quarterback wise.
Well, yeah. If you're not gonna, you can't have.
I didn't watch their ball game.
Playing.
I don't know if they're having a
QB
change or not. Okay.
Yeah, I think
So officially Texas -7 in the big house.
it's 7. Is it 7? Yeah, let me roll back up. I have it at -5.5, so it made me feel like it was a lock at Texas just to win
Really?
and cover. Yeah, but I guess it depends.
Yeah, I'm seeing 7 on DraftKings.
That's fine. I'll take 7.
Yeah.
You gonna take the over in Tennessee, NC State?
No, that was a game I was looking at, but then I came across this that Arkansas State is favored. Where did it go?
Did y'all see the Arkansas State game?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're favored by 7.5 over Tulsa. Now I know
didn't see it.
Tulsa is nothing special, but Tulsa's fresh off of a 62-point outing where they beat Northwestern State 62-28, and Arkansas State needed a miracle to
A
beat
terrible call. Terrible.
UCA. But I don't know that I want that.
Well,
What is the Tennessee NC State over?
58. I think here. I just went back to it.
61. Wow.
Ooh, it went up.
It's gone up.
Oh, Kentucky has gone up too. Kentucky's up to 10 now, so I'm glad I didn't take that.
Oh, man. Actually, you know what? I'm taking Texas State -2
Wow.
hosting UTSA because UTSA barely beat Kennesaw State, and I just don't think those boys are going to go in there and come within a field goal of the Bobcats of Texas State. So Texas State -2 against the Roadrunners. It's your official Thunder pick of the week.
Interesting.
Ooh, let's get on this hook point. TJ, I don't know what it is about the texture of this can, but I like it.
Okay, see, I felt it, and I didn't know if it was like just glue or something on mine. I can't tell what it was.
No, it's texturized.
It is slightly texturized.
I mean, I had a koozie on it for most of the time, but also for a second thought it was, it's the paint.
Yeah, it's like it's speckled.
It's actually this can is truly painted. That's creative. I don't mind it.
I don't know. If you're looking at the can, I think the can's kind of boring personally. I get that they went with classic. Freedom is worth drinking to. It's kind of sick.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a little
very American.
I don't know. You can't really see the eagle unless I turn it at a weird angle because it's gray on white. It's okay. I mean, it's an average can. I will say, well, I'm not gonna hold that against the can. It's like a 5.4 can for me. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's just a very.
You can just see it. I mean, it's just a can.
Yeah,
it's just a can.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a 5.9. I'm gonna give it a little extra bonus for the American love.
Fair.
The paint texture is weird though.
Would you say a 5 what?
5.9.
5.9.
I don't know that I like this paint. It keeps chipping off. It's
mine's
starting
not
to
chipping
flake off. I got weird spots on this one, or it's starting to flake off.
I don't
Right
have that
there
at
where
all.
you dropped it, it's flaking. I mean, the beer is good. This was a great post-Mo beer. It was very cold. It was in the very, very back of my beer fridge, and it had actually frozen to the wall. So this thing was ice cold. It was very light, nearly like water. So it was almost like it was hydrating me. The crushability is through the roof. You could easily drink multiple of these.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a natty light in
Definitely.
the college days-esque. I mean, you're playing beer pong with this
but
thing.
It tastes better. It tastes way better than that.
It is better. I might have to have one of these after soccer tomorrow. This is a if you've been hot, if you need something refreshing, you went for a run, you mowed the grass, you just did something physically demanding and you just want a nice, cold, refreshing brew. OG Lite in the summer Hit the spot. I'm going. It is very, very light, though.
It is, yeah. I was going to point that out here in a second.
It's good, but it's almost too light, if you will. So I'm going to go like 6.6.
Wow. 6.6 right in here.
Like you're. I mean, in order for it to match up with some of these beers TJ has us drinking, you're going to need like 5 or 6 of these things.
I should point it out. It is very light. I mean, it's good. The crushability is very much so to the roof.
I'm not joking when I say that it's. I mean, it looks like water. That's how clear it is. This does not look like beer.
But to me, it tastes better than a lot of like the mainstream light beers. Like I think it tastes better than like a Miller Lite to me. It definitely is better. I also don't really like Miller Lite, but I will say where it loses points is it's only 3.8%. Now, granted, it is only 89 calories.
TJ's had us out here drinking 12.5 percenters.
It is 89 calories, so like whatever. I put it at 7.4 just because it is so light and you can drink a lot of them.
Wow.
I think it's like light enough that you only search this out. You only drink this beer if you want like a super light beer. That's the way I would look at it personally.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here it is. So this is OG Lite. Come on, dude. Get it right. OG Lite.
You need to update your background picture.
I know. We've actually had the OG in the first place. We've had the real OG beer.
Which one is it?
It's called Original Glory.
Oh, I don't think I've had that.
Nah, dude, you've had it. Where are we at here? Let me know. It's coming through on your end, maybe. This guy.
I have not had that.
Oh, maybe not then. I thought maybe you had it. We definitely didn't have
the most patriotic can I've ever seen in my entire life. I would have remembered that. Are you saying we've just had it in general? You and I have had it, or we've had it on the show?
We've had it on the show.
I have not had that on the show.
They did not have that can. I'm pretty sure we've had this one.
Okay, maybe we've had it if it was in a different can.
Maybe I'm thinking of Flat Hat or something. Oh, shit. Well, I'll go get this one because this can looks pretty sick.
That is a sick can.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah, maybe we haven't. Maybe I was thinking of Flat Hat. It was one of the first beers.
What's the difference in them?
In what? Original Glory and OG Light?
Yeah. It's just not as light.
Yeah, OG, Original Glory, is 4.2%, and OG Light is less carbs, less calories. There is a bit of a discrepancy, though, because the website says 80 calories and the can says 89. But OG Light is a superior, ultra light bodied Pilsner with all the flavor you want and everything you don't. So there's that.
Well, that's a statement right there.
Yeah, just less calories. It seems like it's where we're going with that.
Word. All right. We'll head out to the Liberty Bowl, 11 a.m. Saturday. For TJ, this is Trey. For Kenny, this is Trey. We're signing off. Meet us next week for the cold brew. Stay for our hot takes. And match our nasty.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.